Hello, everybody. It is time for our live with Manny and Tiff. Just gonna wait for them to join us in a minute. Welcome, everybody. Just waiting on our guests to join, and we will begin. Okay, Tiff, you're gonna have to request to join. Hello.
Hey.
Hi.
Gotta make sure we get it right. One second.
Yeah.
Our first live.
It's not obvious. It's not obvious. Oh, you're gonna have to. So you guys are still upside down. You're gonna have to turn it
Oh, turn.
Okay.
Okay.
like straight. Yeah.
No.
Great.
Awesome.
Okay. All right.
We could see ourselves, so it was all right.
Yeah, if you have your phone the other way, it kind of turns it for everybody. How you guys doing?
Good. I know.
Welcome. How's your Saturday? How's the day? It's raining here, which I'm happy about.
Nice and
It's
sunny
not so
here.
bad. It's not so bad.
Okay.
So actually, I think it's like 11 degrees today
Yeah.
as a high.
Yeah.
10, 11 degrees. So
Mm.
yes.
That's pretty good.
Nice. Awesome. Okay.
It's
This is exciting. I've been wanting to have you guys as guests for a while, but here we are. So welcome everybody. This is Fix It Finance, and my guests today are Manny and Tiffany Itivehs, all the way from Halifax, Nova Scotia. So for those of you who've never been to the East Coast, now is the time to experience them firsthand. So I guess we'll get right into it just because of time. So tell us about you guys. Like, tell us about yourself, your background, what you guys are about.
Right. Well, as Fakaya said, my name's Tiffany. I'm born and raised here in Halifax. My mom's from Jamaica and my dad's from Halifax. So so this has kind of been my life here. I've traveled parts of Canada, but always happy to come back home. Married to this lovely man right here, and we Malachi is about to be 3, and Rhea is about to be 1. In just
2
time.
weeks.
So I love being a mom. I started a business last year.
Nice.
That's a little bit.
Well, my name is Emmanuel, but people call me Manny. People don't know my name is Emmanuel, actually. Funny enough. My name is actually Emmanuel. And official, I'm an accountant, but I don't do accounting anymore. More into strategy. I work for the province of Nova Scotia, and I do have a business, but don't really have a business. So COVID packed it for me big time. But I'm married to this lovely lady. I'm originally from Nigeria, from Warri, for those of you that know. So Nigeria, been here for 16 years. And she said 2 kids.
Yes.
They're outside the home right now. Like we said, it's
Rare
quiet.
occasion.
Quiet them till later on the night.
Yes.
That's
It's nice to have some time off,
Yeah.
once in a while. Okay. So I guess next question: how did this financial journey start for you guys? Like, what triggered it? Like, what happened to make because like part of the purpose why we do these lives, right? It's not just because we feel like telling everybody a story. Like, we like to encourage people because Manny, you and I were having this conversation one time, and you were saying one of the biggest barriers to, I guess, financial independence, because a lot of people just don't think it's possible, right? So that's one of the reasons why I like bringing, guys like you, then Tosi, Tolu, people to talk about it that are actually doing it, so people realize it's actually possible. So I guess tell us how did it start for you guys? What triggered it? Were you a, yeah, what triggered it? Don't let me mix another question.
Well, I would say we've had many failed attempts.
Which, like everybody.
Being, better with our finances, better with our spending habits. We're like, oh, we've had many times we're like, oh, we're going to have a budget and we're going to stick to it. And we do all this, Excel work, spreadsheet. And then,
a new restaurant opens.
A restaurant opens, or it's somebody's birthday, or, I just want to have fun. Being the budget kind of the window. So there were lots of things that kind of we had on our list that we've always had on our list. We didn't want to live paycheck to paycheck. We wanted to be able to have the kind of, a bit of a different kind of lifestyle where we didn't have to stress about money. We wanted to be able to have some savings, in our failed attempts before for future kids, for our, and things like that. But I would say what was the trigger this time that really helped us to actually start achieving those goals was, funny enough, COVID. Talk about that piece.
So we like you said, we had so many failed attempts, and we, things were not just going the way we wanted to go. We were we found that we're arguing a lot when it comes to finances. It was, I love to eat outside, so even though we cook, I still want to go outside. Even right now, I want to still go outside to eat today. Struggled with that piece. So COVID was really helpful because all the restaurants shut down. And so it was like, okay, here's our opportunity. And the good thing was we just completed our taxes. So we complete taxes, it's like, okay, we got this money. Then you end up spending it. We'll be like, we'll save, but you don't end up saving it. You end up just spending it because it's like extra money. So like we had nowhere to go. Our daughter was just born. We just finished paying off our car, or we're about to finish paying off the car. So it's like, okay, here's an opportunity to really make this happen. And then come around to us and talk to us about like, living debt free is possible. So even though it's possible, you're like, it's not possible, you just feel like you need that, so it's one of those things that we felt, okay, you know what, here's a window for us. Let's go for it. So we went for it.
We also felt like once we realized, okay, this whole COVID thing is going to be happening for a while. We're going to be inside for a while. We're talking about it, and we decided we didn't want to come out of COVID in the same position or off. So we're like, you know what? Let's use this opportunity to our benefit. And I would say that something, for people who are listening and are like, oh yeah, but we don't always have COVID to kind of give us that opportunity. And at least here in Nova Scotia, we're opened back up. So restaurants are opened again. And so those temptations are there. But one thing that I would say is that as we're kind of going through it, is that those things that you like to do, the eating out and all of that, you can do it at home. It says require more money than your usual spending, but we found that even though we were spending more on our groceries, we were eating even better than we were at restaurants because we were like, to treat ourselves, we'll get those avocados, whether they're on sale or not, or, and so it kind of helps to balance things out. And I think before, that was the things that why we were failing. We were depriving ourselves of all joy, right? And so it gave us that leeway to figure out that, hey, we can still have fun and enjoy ourselves. We just maybe have to adjust how we're doing it. So
and the trigger that was apart from with the kids, COVID, we knew we wanted to start a business, especially with her. She was going on a maternity leave. We knew this was a window for us to have an opportunity to start a business and see how it goes. And we did not want to finance, like we didn't want to borrow to start the business. So we're like, we need to save that money to start the business. So we just felt like, okay, here's our window. Baby's coming. Business is about to start. What are we going to do? So it was not an easy one. I'm going to lie. Like sitting down doing that spreadsheet, there were a lot of like anger. Like there's some days.
How did we get ourselves here?
But it was actually the most productive budgeting we've ever done. And it was one of those things because I remember her, she'll be like, well, maybe we can use the money for extra groceries. And I'm like, but I can't be, in my mind, I'm like, I'm not staying in this house all day long. I got to go out, after work. I'm not just coming in to be under the roof. Let's go out, let's be under the sun. So, but it was one of those things like, the money is going here. And I was just like, well, there's nothing else I can do because I'm not going anywhere. So the money will have to go there. And one thing I did like that, like she said, she was like, well, why don't we spend the money on extra avocado, extra juice, extra, okay, you like
Dessert or something.
brioche bread, some treats that that you usually like when you go out to eat.
Yeah.
So, you know what? Or so we did it, and immediately it's happened. The joy was you just.
I think you're jumping
Yeah,
ahead of her
yeah.
That's true. I guess that leads into my next question.
It was good. It was good. It was
That
good.
actually leads to my next question. So, like, you guys have talked a lot about how you guys did it, during this season of COVID and whatnot. What was it like when you guys were single / maybe when you first got married? You kind of talked about the arguments, and for those that are listening that have been here long enough, how I spoke about myself and Kenny. Some of the arguments we would have were just ridiculous, and it was over money too. But as soon as we got that line of thing going, like budgeting and whatnot, it reduced drastically. Yeah. So, like, how was it like for you guys? What's it like for you guys?
Yeah, when we're single, it wasn't. I think for me, I was the biggest problem. I've always been a big spender. Like today, I can just rent a car because I want to rent a car.
Yeah.
Thank you. You just feel like doing
I
it.
love my work. I need to treat myself. I need to. Let's go stay in a hotel. You know what I mean? I was just always being. When we're single, it was one of those things like we
Let's
go
take a
out.
road trip.
Let's take a road trip. Let's go somewhere.
Yeah.
And of course, we were single, but we're pretty much connected. And
let me just say, for those who don't know us, like, we've been together now. We've been here 16 years, so like 14 years as far as met and started dating up till now. We're being married for 4 years. So just so that you have some context.
Yeah. So we're pretty much, but it was one of those things that I just felt it was our way of life. We've chosen this way of life. All we got to do is increase our revenue, our income. So increasing our income, but increasing our.
You know what's funny? Sorry to cut you short. I was just having this conversation with myself, I guess, the other day, and like what you just said right now is so key. Because that was one of the biggest convictions that I had. Because when I was like making what I think maybe $18 or something an hour, I said, no, it's not enough. When I start making 50, then I will take over the world. You understand? But it doesn't work like that. If you are not conscious of it when you're making $10 an hour, $15 an hour, even if you start making $180 an hour, it's just now you're making bigger purchases and making, for lack of a better word, bigger decisions that are not so great.
Better restaurants,
exactly.
Well, too. So, I don't want to be called. So you just feel like you have to change your way of life. The rentals you get, like when I rent, I don't rent. I was like, even though I'm just going here, I rent the big cars, and she said, just need it.
Who are we driving?
Like, but it's for me. It's my treat. So
and complete opposites. I was like very. I wouldn't go out to eat. I would not. Piece of clothing or shoes that I happened to buy, like I can't remember ever spending more than $20 on a pair of heels. Like I was very much like, if it's here when it's on sale, it was meant to be. If I go back and my size is gone, then So we used to argue about that a lot when we first started dating, because he would be like, well,
just get it.
Just come on. Let's, like, you like it, so get it. And I'm like, you know what I could buy with $80? Like for $80 that I'm going to wear, once a month maybe, or this many weeks of groceries, or, that kind of thing. And so he was always kind of that voice on my shoulder, like, oh, do it. Let's just do it. And eventually I gave into that. And then it was like, oh, well,
our way of living.
This is fun. This is great. Of course, we were in school, both in university. At one point, I was taking 6 classes and working time. So it was like, oh, yeah, when we go out and have fun, you work hard, play hard, mentality, but it really caught up with us.
Yeah, caught up, yeah.
And then kind of shifting gears to then being married, you can think that, oh, well, we're combining things.
Yeah.
So we're gonna be able to save more because it's like it's two rent or two grocery bills, you know. unless you're already disciplined and you factor those things in. But if you just go into it like, oh, we're married now, we're one, bills are cut in half, you just find other things to spend money on.
Exactly.
So whether it's furnishing your home or, you know, the
going
money
on a vacation.
I just wanted to say
that like almost triples in price actually.
Yeah, and you got with kids.
Then you add kids, like it, you know, it's a lot, and you just find more ways to spend money. You want to treat each other, you outdo each other for birthdays and anniversary gifts. So I would say now our spending habits have changed. You know, one thing that has really helped, it was still a work in progress. The whole buying our groceries online has been a key tool for me personally, because I can see everything that's in my cart and the total. When you just are up and down aisles, oh, this is on sale, let me add it. Oh, I feel like that, let me add it. Oh, let me try this. But when you're shopping online, as far as groceries go, you're there for what you need. And yes, I add things that I would like, but when I now see that total, I go back and I say, okay, what can I get rid of? And it helps us to stick to that grocery budget. And since for that food is our biggest temptation, our biggest spending area, that has been a really key thing that we learned through COVID, because I never did online grocery shopping before.
Yeah, same here.
And I've said I won't go back.
Yeah.
Life easier, it's less time. And then, of course, you go into the grocery store for those few things in between your main order, but it's really helped us stick to that budget.
Another thing that we used to do back then, I don't know if it applied to anybody, is when we used to buy groceries, we just buy anyhow. And because we will stock up our fridge and a lot of things go bad. Before, I used to be like, why is the fridge empty? I need it full. Like, I need to see it full for me to know that we are living. But now I can go there, our fridge is empty, but our freezer is full. Because now because you have to cook and so on and so forth. So that it changed a lot. During COVID, there's one she would be like, we have to finish every food. And I don't like leftovers. So that was one of my biggest challenges, was eating leftovers. So I was just like, man, I got to do it. But hey, and I found that leftovers was actually really good. So
it's even better.
Just marinated. So So there's a lot of changes. Trips, when we used to travel, man, we go somewhere. I just say eat. We used to use this word. Don't look at the price. Just eat.
Please look at the price in this day and age.
And
well, this was while we were still in debt. So,
so it was like, we used to have.
If I can summarize everything you guys have said so far, basically it's intentionality. And I know we always come back to this word at the end of the day, but when it comes to money, intentionality is key, because everything else rides on that. If you're not intentional about it, you're not watching it. It's just gonna, like the Bible says, money has wings. It will just fly away. And you will look up at the end of the month, you're wondering, I made 10,000 this month. How did I spend 12?
Oh, YOLO word, you refinance. No.
Even if you're gonna YOLO, plan your YOLO. Let it be a budget line item. YOLO paroles.
But I'm like, but there's things that you can do with it even after you're gone if you set it up properly. So
so I guess, where are you guys right now? Like, in terms of finances and whatnot? You've talked about some of the things you've achieved and whatnot. So where are you guys right now?
Work in progress. But we are, I would say, like, debt free in the sense of our only debt right now is our mortgage. Not 100% debt free, but as far as like, credit cards and all of that, we've paid all of that off. Our car, debt that we like anything, money that we may have borrowed from family or whatnot. That's
What
all.
was the feeling like? Describe it. Like when you guys were finally done.
Like, I think I almost cried. Like, because we've been together so long, like it just felt like this huge weight off of our shoulders. Yeah. And it was a weight that we almost didn't even realize we were carrying.
Exactly.
You know, because like you said, sometimes we'd have these arguments and sometimes you don't even know, you'd be like, why are we even arguing? Yeah. But it's like, you don't realize that it is there subconsciously.
Oh, yeah.
He was more like thinking of it intentionally. I was kind of like, oh, you know, just let me know what's up, right? And so I think for me, the stress was subconsciously, his was consciously. But when it was done, it was like, oh my gosh, like when we paid off the car, I was so excited. And that was our first thing we paid off. This just got the ball rolling to let's pay off the credit card. Let's pay off my line of credit, you know, that kind of thing. And it got us really excited. And then to say we're debt free besides the house, it was like so freeing and such a relief. And it was like a joy that we didn't even know was missing. And I think it just helped us to, we're like, okay, we don't want to go back.
That was my next question. I was going to be like, will you ever go back?
Don't want to go back. No.
I think that's one thing that I've been paying attention to. Even though we still have the credit card, because one of the reasons we kept the credit card especially was for flights, like the point in this thing. We're like, when COVID is all gone, you better know that we are, you know, we're out of here for a bit. So
but we've been very disciplined with it.
We're very disciplined with it. So we're just like, okay, we put it in, we pay it off, and so on and so forth. And of course, during remortgaging, we want to make sure that we're, you know, set up well with our what do you call it? Refinancing and so on and so forth. So we just want to make sure that we're good there. I think for me, one of the she said everything, the relief and everything, the joy. I think one thing that I was extremely happy about was the business was about to start. About to start. And I was like, you know, I want us to be able to do this well. You know, so that really gave us that, for me, that motivation, that joy when we started the business and we know that everything was financed from our pocket without borrowing it. For me, that's when I knew.
And that we weren't carrying
we're not carrying any personal on top of it. Like even today, you know, we're not closing it. If we decide we're walking away, there's no loss to it.
And it even changes. It changes the way you do business too. A lot of people don't realize when you're desperate, when you're in a business, or if you start a business with like debt and you have a lot of unnecessary pressure, it adds to how you guys run the business, and people don't know that. You know, Okay. So next, this kind of leads into the next question. Because you guys have talked about, you know, the good things that have happened, the joys, the stress that you didn't even know was there. So now, what's been the biggest struggle? Because I think a lot of people think once you're debt free and the budgets, everything is just sprinkles and rainbows. What's the biggest struggle for each of you?
Staying debt free.
Staying out of it. It's so to slip back because even as you know, today's what, Saturday. On Thursday after work, I told her bring the kids downtown, and I don't even know how much you spend. After work is supper time, so, and I don't even know how much you spend, and I've not decided to look at my account right now. And
wait until
after the session, I have to go look at the account because we went all out, and it was one of those things. I felt like, you know, we deserved it, but one thing I was just, you know, conscious about is that we don't want to go back to where it was. It's definitely not easy.
And everybody deserves those moments, right? But one thing I'll say, like from the past and now, like a night like that we had on Thursday where we decided, you know what, let's go. We're going to go to eat. Yeah. We took Malachi to the candy store and let him pick a few treats, you know, things like that. But when we swipe our card, tap our card, there isn't this like, oh, now I got to go home and figure out what bill I have to cover. Like, because we are out of, you know, that like paycheck lifestyle, we can have a night like that. And yes, maybe maybe if we were supposed to go out to dinner next week, we may not anymore because we kind of went out to dinner already, but it's not taking away from anything else because we've, you know, gotten out of that lifestyle. But I would say for us, the hardest thing is eating out. We really enjoy food. We enjoy trying new places. We love,
now that
you
we're
know,
opened up a
going,
little bit.
we love going to places that have a certain atmosphere, and you know, we love to take our kids out and give them those experiences as well. So I think for us, especially with summer coming, we have to be very conscious and very intentional about balancing. Okay, we can't just be going out to eat all the time. We can't we can't hope for COVID cases, because we don't want to go back into lockdown. But we can't depend on COVID to keep us in check, right? So now that it is getting warmer, things are opened up. One of our goals is to be like, okay, we can't eat out all the time. We still have to cook. So, you know, let's keep that excitement of home cooking, whether it's the barbecue or, you know, what have you. So
you know what I find amazing? Sorry, Manny, is that because I've you know, a lot of people don't know, but like I stayed with you guys every time I would come out to Halifax. I used to go to Halifax once a month because of school. I would stay with you guys. And Tiff, you're such a good cook. So when you guys talk about eating out a lot, I'm like, what? I would eat at your place as eating out. You know what I mean?
But she would cook, and I was like, this is better than restaurant.
Yes.
It's just that, like, you know, after work, being under the roof the whole time, you come home. My son has been in daycare under the roof, so you just want to go out. You know, I'm just like, man, I want to go out. So where you want to go is like, we can do the playground for so long. You're just like, you know, I want to, you know, so that's always been my biggest.
And I think
go ahead.
A lot of people, I think it's just the experience, because sometimes Kenny doesn't get it when I'm like, I just want us to go out. He's like, but there's food in the house. We just did groceries, or we just went out last week. I'm like, it's not just, you know.
It's different. I will say sometimes I just am not in the mood to cook, and so I'll say, I'm not cooking tonight. So if you don't want to cook, then you got to figure us out something. So I keep ordering.
Figure it outside.
You know, he can cook and does cook, but it's not his favorite thing to do. I actually really enjoy it. Another thing that has been, I would say, go back a little bit, as a challenge too, is that now that we do have the business and 2 kids, cooking sometimes takes the back burner. It's been a little challenge now trying to cook. So, you know, because of time. So that's something that we've decided, like, well, if it means we have dinner at 8:00, then we'll have dinner at 8:00, just to help not ordering in or going out, right?
Tolu is on here. She may be able to hook you up with HelloFresh. Try it out.
A few people saying hi, so hello.
Okay. So the next thing is, you talked a lot about the business. I wanted you guys to talk about it a lot, because, you know, as friends, we talked about it, but like, tell us what was it like? Because first of all, Tiff, your vision was fantastic. Like, you know, and Manny, you mentioned it too, how, you know, when you guys got debt free, it was able to, like, you guys were able to like really sit down and plan it without any headache or stress, and really execute at your own pace without any pressure from, you know, because sometimes if you took out a loan for the business, for example, you're going to have to execute quickly so you can start getting cash in the door to be able to fund the debt. But, you know, talk about how's the business going, you know, how to start, and what's it like now?
Yes. All right. Well, all right. So it's our business. So what business is it? So it's called Butter Bar, or our social medias are Natural Butter Bar. So I actually have a few things here. So we sell natural hair and skincare products. And really the idea behind the business is for everyone to customize what they need for themselves. So as I said, right now we sell butters and oils. So things like shea butter, jojoba butter, coconut oil, grapeseed oil. And the business really started, as we said, we live in Halifax. The access to these types of products is very limited. So typically when I started my natural hair journey, there was nothing here, like whatsoever. Like you could barely even find foundation that would, you know, match my skin tone. So products was a definite no. So I either had to order online, which I'm not a big online shopper, or whenever I would travel to Toronto, I would stock up on like all. And so I had this idea about 6 years ago and have kind of talked about it here and there. And yeah, we just decided that it was something we were going to do. I was supposed to start it back in 2018, but I wasn't ready at the time. And so we decided that we would start it when I was on maternity leave for our second child, where she was born in 2020. And so right now I said we sell oils and butters, and it's just the individual ingredients at this time. And the reason for that is to help people get familiar with them and also allow people to use them to mix their own concoctions, whether it be for their hair or skin. We'll have other things coming up in the future, like shampoos and conditioners. Essential oils will be launching in about a month and a half. And then and it'll kind of evolve from there. We have lots of ideas, but because we did start without taking a loan or taking investment from anybody that we would have to pay back, that is one of the reasons that we're starting a bit on like a smaller scale, because we need to pace ourselves and we didn't want to put ourselves back into debt. It was exciting and scary all at the same time to start. As I said, I had this idea 6 years ago. He's been pushing me, and I'm the shy, like hesitant, risk-averse person. They're like ambitious, go-getter, let's take the risk. So we do balance each other out, but it does take me a while to kind of take the leap. But I'm really, really happy that we did, and the has been amazing. The products are really, really great quality. I'm not just saying that because
you know what? I can testify to that, to be honest, because like my brother was out here, I think last year, and he wanted to order, and he ordered a whole bunch because I was like, yeah, buy something for me too. I'm your sister, So he bought a whole bunch of stuff for me, and I was still telling you yesterday, like the shea butter you guys have, I've never experienced shea butter like that. It melts right in your hand. I use it every day, So, and I've noticed the difference in my hair. So I'm just like, that's why I really wanted you guys to talk about it. So it's not just a plug,
Yeah, no, like, because one thing that's important to us is to have ingredients that are high quality and affordable. Like, oh, your prices are quite low, like you should raise them. But one of the challenges that I had, especially before, was I couldn't afford a lot of the products that people were promoting or suggesting, especially for natural hair care, because anybody in the natural hair journey, it can be expensive.
Not can be, it is very.
Like deciding that you're going to eat healthier, like, buying all those fresh fruits and vegetables, it costs more money. It just does. And so we wanted to make it as affordable as possible. And yeah, so they are really, really great products. So for anybody, if you have any questions, or check us out on Instagram at naturalbutterbar.com or Natural Butter Bar, sorry. And our website is butterbar.com. And we do also offer free consultations as well to help people pick products that actually will work for them, because we know it's not a one size fits all, and everybody has different needs. So this way you can customize it for yourself. But the pandemic was scary. But people have really rallied around us, and we think it's been a great journey so far. I'm excited. I think one thing that like he said, being out of debt beforehand helped me to take that leap as well. But it's also made me more conscious of, like, okay, how I run my business. Like you said, it's easy to just order everything and just have a surplus, but we're trying to be more mindful and be more intentional about what we carry, how much of it we carry, so that we're not wasteful, not just in money, but even in product as well.
And all that helps, like all the discipline and like the lessons you learn from getting debt free, you can apply that straight to the business, Even
like for now, I did entrepreneurship. The life cycle of this product, I just kind of hit peak, so as it's coming down, then you launch something else. So, if we had the millions of dollars is to just buy everything
yeah.
and try and figure it out. So you really teach yourself how to market this ones to its maximum and how to really, know what product is selling versus the other ones are not selling, and use that money to invest somewhere else. So even for me, it's taught me a lot. I know the fact that, because to be honest, it being your money is a lot different.
Yes.
You make better decisions when it's your money that's involved.
It's a lot different.
Yeah, much better. I'm so happy for you guys. Like, because I remember when I first started coming over to you guys' place, I think it was 2017 when I first started the degree. So like I guess I would hear, like, we would talk about the business and whatnot. So it was so nice to see it come to life, Like, I remember, Tiff, every time I came over to your place, your hair, I'd just be like, this life.
So
Maybe you could start a beard line, just add something for the guys.
plan to launch a beard line down the road. So
Nice.
Let me say this: these products aren't just for women; they're for men as well, and your babies. It's it's all.
You know what? Like, the ones we have, Kenny actually uses the jojoba oil more than I do. He loves it. Yeah.
We've been hearing that husbands have been stealing their wives' butter bar products.
Okay. So the next thing would be, like, what are you guys' future goals, like financial goals? You mentioned, growing the business, I'm hoping one day to be able to buy/invest in the business. That's the stage we're at now. We're looking for businesses to buy, But yeah, what's the next stage financially for you guys as a family, as a business owner,
Well, I say as a business, because we'll kind of close that there. Definitely to grow it. I'm hoping that this will be something that will be my main, source of income. That's thing that we can grow and we can pass on to our children if that's what the route they're interested in going. But it can be that main source of income for our family, and that we can have if we want to. Not because we have to. So that as far as the business perspective, that would be financially, that would be our biggest goal, I think, long term, for the business. And then I think personally, I would say for me, a big thing is that creating that generational wealth.
Yes.
Something that we didn't really have, I would say. Like, it's not, our families weren't in a position to say, like, here we've created this, go and try things and do things. There's that, cushion to fall back on. But I'm also grateful for that, because I feel it has made us very humble and very appreciative of the struggle, of like, everybody starts that. And I think that will help us balance with our own kids. At least I pray so, that, yes, even if, not if, but when we get to that point where we can create that generational wealth, it's not for them to just throw money at them and say, hey, go do. You still have to work for it. You still have to earn it, because we know what hard make sacrifices to put us through school and, things like that. But the opportunities that are out there for people who come from generational wealth, we want those opportunities to be available.
Yeah, it's just different. It's like, I watched this short film on Netflix yesterday, and the guy talked about how, some people start at third base while others are starting from, like, outside the stadium. We're grateful for the kind of upbringing that we had and the sacrifices our parents had to make, to get us where we are, but how beautiful, how lovely would it be to be able to, like, when you wanted to start the business, to get a nice big fat check of about 50 grand. We won't be talking what we're talking right now. So it just is what it is. I really love that goal. And what you guys said about being able to, like, fund the business and whatnot. You guys, like, for those of you listening, like, that's one of the reasons why when you get debt free and whatnot, there's some passions you have that you'd be able to pursue and follow and invest in and fund that could set up not just yourself, not just your family, but future generations for, like, bigger and better things, So this getting debt free, or this getting your financial house in order, it's not necessarily just about you. You have no idea the kind of lives and the kind of destinies you would change over time just because you decided to get things right.
I think something that we're hoping, like, of course, pay off the house sooner than later. Build some more personal savings and really grow that. And look for, especially for me, look at investments. So she has her own. I've been eyeing some investment, but I know we're not financially there. So
Yeah, yeah.
I don't want to borrow to do that. So I'm just ourselves. I know one thing that we have to do right now is go back and really look at our books again. So we've done that. We've gotten out of debt. Now, lifestyle is a little bit different. So we have to, and then look forward.
Reevaluate.
Okay. We have a question here. It says, do you guys have a joint account? Like, how do you guys merge your finances? You had talked about that. Funny enough, I'm surprised when we're prepping for this, we didn't put that in there. But
Yeah.
good thing the question came out. Like, how do you guys manage your You seem to be cohesive. So how do you guys do it?
So I don't know if this is, it's probably not the proper way, but
you know what? There's no such thing. It's what works for the two people involved.
Joint account. However, we have access to each other's accounts.
Yeah.
And it's funny this question came up because anytime we've spoken to people just about like marriage things, and they always, that's one question, at least I don't know about you, I always get is, should we have a joint account? And I always say yes. The reason we don't have a joint account is just because we have full access to each other's accounts. But I think that
I added you to my account because of something else. Yeah.
Yeah, it wasn't really. I actually
Yeah.
am on his account, but it's not like an official
because
joint account.
Because of the perks of that bank.
Yes, it was.
Yeah.
So, but I do think personally, we think that you should have a joint account or at least full access. And that's our point of view. That's, what has worked for us. We know everybody's different, but the reason that we think that it is important and it is the way to go is, one, you can help keep each other accountable. It helps to maintain that trust that you have worked so hard to build with each other. And it's just like in marriage, everything is a partnership. I think it's okay to have your own money, but it shouldn't be a secret. You shouldn't have to sneak it or hide it. We've done it in the past where it's kind of like, okay, you have X amount for this month or this week, and you have X amount for this month and this week. Spend it however you want. So if he decides to eat out for lunch every day with his money and it's done before the next one is due, well, that's on him. If I decide to buy shoes or hair stuff, whatever, that's on me. Right? But we did that for a little bit, but it wasn't really for us. But that's a way that
come back and get more. You know what I mean? So you'll be like,
so for us, we just 100% transparent. Like, here, take my card. Here, log in, and you can see what we're spending and stuff. So I think having it joint, or at least having the access, is very important.
I think for us, we thank God because it was kind of like we didn't really have it. It just happened. We're just like, hey, take my card. My password is this. You take my card, and we just. And actually, even your bank card is in my wallet. So it was one of those things like, So we've just kind of had the access. One thing I know it has helped us is, especially this, of course, she goes to Tim Hortons, buys something. She has to tell me that she bought a tea from Tim Hortons. But especially when it comes to giving money out, there's that discussion that has to happen. And even like if my family will be like, hey, we need this, no matter how tough it is, I have to ask her. It's okay, because the last thing I want her to do is, I was looking at the account, this left. Then stammering and answering the questions. So it has always been like part of us for a while.
But we understand that sometimes that's not the case.
It's not the case for people.
So that's why sometimes it may be great to have that joint account where everything goes in, and then you each decide this is the kind of allowance that we're going to give ourselves. And that's a great way to go as well. But I think just being honest and maintaining that communication and being transparent. Never going to say no to him sending money to his family, or he's not going to say no to me, giving money to my family or what have you. But it's just, and it's not about permission. It's about like, that
Yeah.
being courteous. You know, I respect him and love him enough to say, and trust him enough to have that discussion to say, hey, you know, I would like to send X amount to my sister, or, you know, somebody I know is in need of this. What,
Yeah.
Sure.
right?
You know,
And
it's funny what you just said, like the permission and whatnot, because it's like the same with us. I've never said no to Kenny when he wants to do something, and he's never said no to me,
yeah,
except for, you know, buying my PS5. But that's another conversation for another day, you know. But like, I'm just saying, like, at the end of the day, I think maybe one of the reasons people fear being open and transparent with each other is, you know, maybe this person is going to be all, which I would say that's more of a testament to the relationship in itself than the money issue. You know what I mean? So, you know, kind of like the conclusion we always come back to whenever I ask this question is communication and transparency. That's really all it's about. Whether it's joint or it's not joint or it's separate or it's whatnot, you know, at the end of the day, it's all about transparency and communication. Sorry, Manny, were you saying something?
No, no. We are Christians, so we do rely on God for wisdom in all these things. So I don't want to all people just jump and just say, you know, sometimes not just discussion. Sometimes you can have that discussion for years and it never ends anywhere. So
Yeah.
every relationship is different. So just, you know, need to just apply wisdom, and we go to the source for wisdom. So,
Yeah.
and it worked for us. So
yeah.
we believe it will work for you. So yeah.
Okay. So this is actually a good segue into the next question is what's your biggest advice, biggest takeaway? Like if you were to give somebody advice to your younger self, for example, 10 years ago when y'all were still like dating and courting and whatnot, what would you tell each other or tell someone that was similar in your shoes?
Well, what one piece of advice that I wish I had received when I was younger was how to properly use my credit card.
Don't we all?
I like it boggles my mind that I think back when I was 19, I started getting all these credit cards in the mail and it just seems so easy.
Yeah.
Thankfully, one. Um, and once I had paid that one off, it was painful. I cut it up and I only just got a credit card the end of 2020. And the only reason I got it was because I opened the business.
Mm.
So I had been the last, 10 years without a credit card. And I was so happy when they those Visa debit things because purchase things online without, you know, that kind of thing. But yeah, that's one piece of advice. I wish I had understood how to use my credit card properly, what it meant to take a cash advance off your credit card, um, what it actually means, like why you should pay your payment on time, not just wait and then just pay it off. Like and how those things affect your credit, how, you know, and once it like dings your credit, it dings it hard. Like it, you know, it doesn't matter that, oh, I missed the date by 2 days, but I paid it off in full. It doesn't matter.
Doesn't matter.
Yeah. So understanding if you are going to get a credit card, like actually understanding what that means and what you have to do to like either improve your credit score or at least maintain it if it's already in a good place. That's a piece of advice that I wish I had had or had been told.
Nice.
I think
That's a great one. I definitely did not get that. Yeah. And
yeah,
once you learn it yourself, you just nobody told like when they're giving you the credit card, they don't give you a brochure.
bad credit so bad because I screwed up my using the telephone, didn't pay the
Oh, phone bill.
bill,
Yes.
and
That want
collection.
to get you.
Yeah.
Went to collection, didn't understand what that really meant. I ignored their call, and yep, till it was time to get a car. Then
Yeah.
that's when we were buying the house. Of course, it came up, and it was
Mm-hmm.
years and years after. So,
Yeah. Even though when
so
they say like, oh, after so many years it's
yeah,
gone, it's still
yeah, yeah,
there.
Pops up.
Yeah.
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 I think for me, I think the credit card thing is there. I think some of when we speak about credit card, I think we're so a lot of us are so focused on our credit score as if it's wealth. It is, you know, really getting really getting out of this debts. It's that's where it is. I think, you know, because you know get more credit card, get this, and pay it off, and pay the what they call it, the minimum
Payday
pay,
loans. Oh,
and you keep doing it. It's like, okay, I can maintain more minimum payment. Let's keep growing.
Yeah.
As your income is growing, you get more in debt, and it's good because, like, for instance, want to refinance again. Great that we have a good credit score to refinance, but it's not wealth. I think, in fact, one of the big things is really, I wish we were out of debt a longer time ago.
Yeah.
mm,
I
And
think
really,
that,
we should have been.
yeah,
We should have been.
yeah. I think
It was our own
yeah,
lack of discipline, our own just pushing a lot of things to the wayside. And, one thing, I think that also helped us was that we committed it to God, like we didn't, this time around, we didn't try and do it by ourselves. It wasn't just about the budget. It was about, consistently praying for us to stick with it and to, keep moving.
So yeah, now if you can do it, it's possible. Live within your means. It is possible. A lot of intentional changes and dealing with those desires that you have, and it's not easy.
Yeah.
It is possible. It's a step. Don't rush into it. Just take your time.
Identify your area of
weakness.
Temptation, and allow a budget a bit of it. Like allow you.
Really that simple.
Right? And I've heard it before, but it really does work, and it really does. Keeping in mind that this is just for a season.
Yes.
And what you're going to be able to experience after you get out of this stage, this chapter, this season, you're going to it's going to be so worth it.
So much better. So much better. When you go out to eat now, you're not even stressed. Even if you guys spend like 150, however much, you're just like, we're just going to move something in the budget to accommodate it, But yeah, if you guys have questions, please post them. Manny and Tiff would love to answer as many questions as possible. But yeah, so we're just moving into the end zone here. So what's your best, aside from starting the business, any other story you have, or the best story you have about being debt free? Like what being debt free has allowed you to do?
Sleep better.
Please say that again.
Definitely better, especially for him. I sleep along no matter what, but he has slept better.
I think you think better. Really, you're not arguing about money or anything like that. About bills being paid. I don't know if she knows that what bills were paid. She knows that bills are paid. That's what she knows. So, but no, just knowing that doing the things that we really really want to do, like the business and so on and so forth. I think it's just better now when things are done and we can travel. I believe that we'll be in a better position to travel and really have a good time. Before, we used to travel but sleep with one eye open. Like I want to have this fun,
I was gonna
but
say,
we can't.
Now, when you're in debt, or when you're living like paycheck to paycheck, you do things to, kind of take your mind off that stuff, to have fun. I'm just going to go have a night out with my girls, or we're going to
escape in a sense.
And you actually do enjoy it and you have fun. But now when you do those things, when you're now on the other side, you actually enjoy it that much more. Because it's not an escape. It's yes, it may be an escape from other things, like, time off from your job, or just, change of scenery, but it's not an escape from your financial stress. So when you now are, there isn't burden or this guilt of, why did I take that trip? Or why did I go to that restaurant? Or, those kind of things. So I don't know about you, but I enjoy the things we're doing even more than I used to, because there isn't that cloud hanging over our heads of,
there's no hangover when you come back, There's no hangover. That's really good. Okay. And last but not least, do you guys have life insurance? I always ask this question because I'm encouraging everybody and their auntie to go get life insurance. So do you have life insurance?
We do have life insurance. Yes. That was something that we waited too long to do that as well, but thankfully nothing has happened, and we did get life insurance.
Types
Yes.
of fixed finance that
Yes.
really give
That
Not
was
us
on your matter about it.
help us choose as
yes,
well. Really
yes,
break it down.
yes.
It's not so much that I don't like talking money and stuff like that. I just don't always understand things. Like when you go to banks and stuff, they give you all this paperwork, and I'm like, one, I'm not reading like 58 pages of something. And then even when I do try to at least read some of it, I half the time don't really fully understand what it means. And so you were really able to help
Yes.
me actually understand and know what I was signing and what
Well,
we
that
were
was for both
actually
of us.
getting.
Yeah.
Yes, and yeah, so thank you. We do
Thank
have
God.
I said, feel a lot more relief knowing that, hey, they don't have to go into what they call that website to post to raise funds,
go
Go
like
fund me, right?
yeah,
things in the
yeah,
stress, right? So
yeah.
I'm not saying you drive anyhow, but there is that piece of like, hey,
It's about the ones you love. If anything happens, you want to be sure that the people you're leaving behind are more than well taken care of.
And I
Like when I tell people all the time, my father passed away last year, and he had a will, and for us that was so great because, as you can imagine, how things are in a country like Nigeria when somebody dies,
yeah,
we just he had a will. Thank you for your advice, and he had a will. You know what I mean? So just back up.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
So it's just one of those things.
Yes.
Sorry, go ahead.
no,
No, go ahead.
Oh, okay. I was gonna say, do you guys have any giving story you want to share?
well,
I'll let you take that one.
What being debt free has, and it doesn't have to be anything overly spectacular. Like I know one of the things we were able to do, like last year was we wanted to do a very big giving gift for a certain type,
yes.
like set of people, and we were able to do it. So, and to be honest, when Kenny first said we should do it, I was like, sure. I don't think we're gonna be able to do that. But then when we're able to, it was just like, oh my god,
Yeah.
So like, do you guys have any giving story you want to share?
I would say we have like, we give when we can,
Yes.
and folks when we meet them and family, and one of the beauty has always been like, when we give, we don't expect back. So
Mm-hmm.
great. So if, especially when it's like, I want to borrow you, if it doesn't come back, she always used to say, hey, it's just money. It's
Yeah.
gonna sure we're in that position. I think, and I'm not saying this out of bragging, and I don't know if it'll be a given story. I One thing that I really thank God, when it comes to our tithing has been very, has been important to us.
Yeah.
When it comes to tithing, we've gone up, like, we don't try, we try to do, we always aim for where we want to be.
Mm.
So we tithe, we say, okay, we want to be here. So we're almost telling God that, hey, we can. If you take us there, we will not have struggle in
Mm.
how our tithing has been. And so far, God has really blessed us, and we've always seen that increase.
Nice.
But in just giving, sorry,
Elevate.
and yeah,
Yeah.
and yeah, it was a mission around here as well, called Elevate. So we've been doing that, and that has pretty much pocket funding. So we've
Yeah.
been
Nice.
really doing that from here. So
Thankfully, have met some people who
yes,
at different times have also given as well.
yeah,
But it was something that, and there were, if Fakayo knows this, there were some times we were like, oh my gosh, how are we going to afford to pay for this? Because we're
yes,
free. And
yes,
even now that we're out of debt, sometimes things come up and we're like, we have no idea where this money is coming from.
yeah,
Because it's not, sometimes, yes, it's smaller amounts, like maybe a couple hundred here and there, but sometimes Elevate sessions have gotten into the thousands.
yeah.
But we've been able to,
By God's grace,
been able to give, like take from our own pocket. We
and
haven't had.
usually with the Elevate session, we usually like maybe giving food and drinks to people that.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We thank God that God has provided for us to give. We didn't have to borrow that. It just really comes.
Yeah.
Big collective either. So
And you guys talking about like being able to give your tithe without stress, and even being able to think to the point where, okay, God, I'm trying to be at this level of, you know, income and whatnot. So I'm going to start giving that way now. That in itself is a big deal. Because I remember, I remember when we first started, like, we will give our tithe and then we'll be like,
Yeah.
you know?
Wrong,
Yeah.
yeah, some, but
I have to give him the credit. He came to me with that, and I was like, "Oh, okay, sure."
Yeah.
And but I was like, I just closed my
Yeah.
eyes and said, "Okay, fine." I was like, we've wasted money before, and this isn't waste. This is
Yeah.
actually, you know,
It's not.
you know. So I said, "Sure, let's go for it."
Yeah.
But so now sometimes he'll be like, "Well," I'll be like, "Nope, you said this is what we're doing.
Yeah.
Let's do it." Yeah. It's that is such a, go ahead, Manny.
A friend of mine, that's what got me thinking. My choir master at church, Alex Wankwa, he said, you know, I don't know if I can pay. How many of you can pay tithe on $1 million? So one, and we, you know, tithing, we say 10%, and I was like, what, $10,000? I couldn't imagine myself giving $10,000 to church, and I had to be.
Actually, that's 100 grand.
You know what I mean? I was like, yeah, I probably can't. Even
Wow.
feel like you know, and I'm like, man, I can, I don't know if I can do that. And so I have to really tell myself, like, yo, so if the growth is happening, can it? Because sometimes we think like, oh, when I hit the million, don't worry, I will give.
Yeah.
And I'm
Doesn't work like that.
like that. So I was like, oh my goodness.
Doesn't
So
work like that.
I don't think I'll be able to give $100,000 to as church. Like, no. So it really got us thinking differently.
Yeah.
That's a great place to end. Thank you for bringing that up, because you know, I definitely feel you on that. It's the same thing, you know. If you don't learn how to manage when you're at $15 an hour, or you know, minimum wage, whatever that is in your region,
Yeah.
you will not know how to manage when you're at 500,000 an hour. You know what I mean? And it's the same thing with giving. If you don't learn how to give when you're making little,
Yes.
when you do start making more, it's not going to be a priority. It's like a muscle, right? So you got to keep exercising it. But yeah, thank you guys so much. This was, you know, you guys were scared that you won't fill up an hour, but over an hour now for the record.
She can definitely let it I do. So
we should do another one for sure. But thank you guys so much.
This is our first live thing, but it was fun. I enjoyed it. And thank you for
Yeah, thank you. I really appreciate it. If you guys have any questions, please, what's the Instagram handle again for Butter Bar?
For Butter Bar, Natural Butter Bar. That's on Instagram, and same with Facebook as well. And
awesome.
Our website is naturalbutterbar.com.
Awesome. You guys should go check them out. They have great products. And I'm not just saying that because they're my friends. I actually use it. So check it out, you know?
Reviews and things too from people that we don't know. So yes, people have really been
amazing.
Enjoying the stuff. So
and I want to thank everyone that stayed behind to watch.
Yes.
And I can see comments. Sorry we couldn't address all the comments, but really
we
thank
see
you.
I saw my sister and my cousin and thank you guys.
Yeah, this was awesome. Thank you guys so much. Thank you everyone for joining in. And, you know, see you again on our next live in another 2 weeks. We'll be announcing our guests there. You never know, it could be Manny and Tiff again. Well, yeah, thank you guys so much. God bless you. Have a wonderful Saturday, everybody.
You as well.
Yes.
Bye-bye.
Sure, bye.
Bye, guys.